Welcome to the Healthy Student YouTube channel. When you might just learn something new. You might even see something strange or that you may not like, but that's okay because it will be healthy.
Another complication of the migrant stream is the constant flow of foreign workers into the available pool of domestic workers. Hundreds of thousands of Mexican braceros and thousands of offshore laborers from the Caribbean area, hired by contract, depress the wage scale of the domestic migrant. This controversy is most bitter on the West Coast. Joseph Woods, a Marine combat veteran of the Pacific, competes against the braceros. Lowe talked to the Woods family under a tree, which was their home in California.
Mr. Woods, how did you happen to pick this spot to camp?
Well, someone told us about it, and they said it was all right to camp here.
Where do you get your water supply?
We go to town after it.
And how do you bring it back here?
In can. We have a 10-gallon can.
What do you use for sanitary facilities, Mr. Wood?
Well, just get by the best we can.
How many days will you have to be picking cherries in order to find enough money to move into a house, Mr.
Well,
Wood?
probably quite a few. They usually want a month's rent in advance, so by the time the cherries are over here, we'll be moving somewhere else anyway.
Mrs. Wood, tell me about the children. Do they go out in the orchards and work with you when you work?
Well, we have taken them out sometimes, but they're a little too small to work.
Who takes care of them here?
My father stays here and takes care of them usually.
Do you think that you'll ever make enough money picking fruit, Mr. Woods, in order to get settled down in one place and have a home of your own?
I don't think so.
Throughout the United States, there are others, like the Woods family, who are not able to enjoy the luxury of living in a labor camp. In New Jersey, a few miles from Princeton, is this labor camp. There are 2 water taps and 2 outhouses. Families live in one room, usually in one bed. The single men live in the bull pit. Their space, 1 bunk. 4 people live in this room in New Jersey. A family of 6 will move into this room. Nearby, a trotting raceway has new stables for horses. They cost $500,000. At Cutchogue, New York, 300 migrants live in this camp owned and operated by the Potato Growers Association of Long Island. This is migrant housing, 90 miles from Times Square. Some have tried to leave the endless migratory stream. Wherever this happens, the local slum areas expand. This is Riverhead, Long Island, New York. A minister said, "This is as primitive as man can live." This settlement of former migrants is called the Bottoms. In Shenango County, New York State, a farm labor camp. The ultimate goal of Ed King's crew, 1,257 miles from Belglade. The migrant mission serves 1/2 pint of milk and 1 cracker to each child. This is their lunch. Their parents eat lunch in the field, sometimes 75 miles away. This is the living space of Eileen King and her 5 children. The room is similar to their winter quarters in Belglade, only smaller. Charles Schumann, president of the American Farm Bureau Federation, says,
"We're the only group of people that furnish housing for our workers. And we furnish these extra benefits, perquisites. Some sections furnish. And it's almost impossible to calculate the value of these added benefits. At the same time, we don't condone inadequate housing.
Mr. Schuman, why does the American Farm Bureau Federation so violently oppose federal legislation?
I think there'll be more rapid progress with state regulation than there will be with federal regulation. We think that federal legislation will follow the route that almost all federal legislation does, of additional and more stringent and more regulations with more and more red tape, and more cutting to a certain pattern all over the country. In effect, it would probably rule out the use of migrant labor very quickly.
The middleman between the farmer and the migrant is the crew leader, a remnant of the padrone system in wide use 60 years ago. Ed King, a crew leader, says,
well, a crew leader, he have to be the father and mother and all when he takes this crew out, because the whole crew mostly be dependent direct on him.
Reverend Michael Cassidy, who travels with the migrants, says,
well, some of the crew leaders, they are good, but the majority of them, they are bad. They are so bad that they are the worst that they can be. They're trying to skin alive these migrants. They take every dime they make. They try every scheme as possible. For instance, they pay the owner, the grower, pay them 45 cents to pick a crate of tomatoes. And then they turn around, they pay the labor 12 cents at the most. And natural, they have 3 or 40 or 50 or 100 people picking tomatoes. He makes, I know a man last year making here, right in here, $14,000, a crew leader. And all the men that left in here, and I met him in Alabama, they were broke. They didn't have a dime because they didn't make the money themselves.
everyone who knows anything about this situation agrees that the best hope for the future of the migrants lies in the education of their children. But for the children of migrants, education is not easy to come by. There are 600,000 of them. Most state child labor laws ignore farm children. And so far as the children of migrants are concerned, almost without exception, they leave school at the age of 16 forever. The United States Office of Education reports that the migratory workers have the highest rate of illiteracy in the country. Approximately 1 out of every 500 children whose parents are still migrant laborers finishes grade school. Approximately 1 out of every 5,000 ever finishes high school. And there is no case upon the record of the child of a migrant laborer ever receiving a college diploma. Only 6 states have summer schools for migrants. The New Jersey School Center is at Cranberry.
Laura, how old are you?
11.
11, what grade are you in?
In the 6th.
6th grade. Do you intend to go to high school, Laura?
Yeah.
What would you like to be?
I'd like to be a teacher.